Hello, everybody. Okay, so we are going to be kind of reviewing quarter one. I'm going to try to do a quarterly review episode after the quarter is finished. So this one is obviously January through March, which I would say for the average US photographer, I'm not talking about those listeners in Australia and New Zealand, which I was looking at my data the other day. And I have so many of you, so thank you for listening. I'm sorry that all my seasonal advice is opposite for you. My husband and I actually lived in New Zealand for a while, and then we got to travel up the coast of Australia, and we love it there, and I would love to come back. So I just love that I have people listening. The podcast is actually shockingly global. Of course, that's not something you think when you start a podcast. You think like your mom and her friends and one other person are going to listen. So it's wild to me that happens. I actually think anyone who has anything to say should have a podcast. I know I'm always saying that. If you have a passion about something, start a podcast. Like, first of all, we need more women. The men need to put the mics away. The women need to go to the men and say, give me the mic. I have passions. I have whimsy. I have things I love. I just think we need more women's voices in this realm. And it's interesting because a lot of women, and this, welcome to the tangent. A lot of women, when I talk, like, went to a networking event last night, and there was a woman there, and she was saying that she wants to start like a new app, and she has all this history of workplace psychology, and obviously she wrote a book. She obviously has tons of passion. And my first thought is like, let people hear it. Like, we need to hear what women have to say, especially if it's related to relationships and the idea of dream chasing and just anything you're passionate about. I just think it's such an easy way to really share with people. So that's your rant. Like, if you're passionate about bread or books or hikes or like literally anything, I listen to the most random podcasts about the most random stuff, and I just love to hear people's joy. On a technical standpoint, if you do turn that passion into a business, what makes it so great is you have this huge body of work that can be transcribed and used for things. Like for me, 100+ episodes into this podcast, I have all of this written word as well. That's the transcripts of my podcast. So if you put it all together, it really starts to clarify who I am as a marketing educator. So it could be true for anyone in any of their passions. And so anyway, that's just my little push, especially if you're a lady and you have a passion, share it. Okay, so January through March for US photographers, unless you're in Arizona, there's always these little caveats, okay? Is the sad months because your brand becomes pretty invisible after the holidays. You come down off the holiday high, which is also for many people a holiday nightmare, because you're drowning and your editing is punching you in the face, and you have last minute demands, and Christmas is around the corner and you need to finish all your Christmas shopping, and then January 1st comes and January 1st knocks on your door and it's like, look at you. You have nothing scheduled. You'll never be successful. Every year is like a little visitor. However, there is still data that we can gather from this quarter. And for a few of you that I've talked to, like, you actually tried new things, implemented, shifted your marketing, and many people who've been intentional about marketing have seen a better first quarter than they've ever seen before, because so many of us are just we're just like, we'll just be in the silence and the non-booking, and we'll just live here. We won't try anything. Those of you who tried things, myself included, like, I introduced a whole new session type, which ended up booking really well, which was my winter beach. So that was great. Like, I could have said, I have 15 years of data telling me that January through March is slow, and what's the point? And I said, well, let's just try some stuff. Tried some stuff, it clicked, and it ended up working. So there's other photographers in the boat like me. It took a lot of energy to do that because I didn't have the content and I didn't really have an idea of what this was, and I didn't know if anyone would even like it. So it turned out to be great. I have actually my last winter beach, which is now an April beach. We just kept getting rained out, which is the problem with the winter beach sessions. But I have so much availability, it doesn't matter. Tomorrow, So that's great. Like I ended the season booking out way more of those sessions than I thought. The people who did them loved them. And now it's going to be something that I'm going to do every single winter as a specialty session. So there's people in both camps. There's also people who feel as though they tried everything and it still didn't work. And I often talk to those people because they'll do a one-on-one with me. When we do a deep dive on what the visibility actually was, it's still very limited. If you go onto my Instagram, I did a 20-minute marketing Q&A the other day, and I feel like it's pretty meaty. If you want to hear me yap at you even more, you could listen to that, but it kind of talks about some mindset shifts that people have sent me DMs that were helpful. So anyway, to get back on track here, we're going to talk about 5 numbers to review that you really should be reviewing every quarter. And so this is a homework episode. So if you want to get the most out of this episode, you will want to actually do this work, because otherwise, if it stays in your brain and it doesn't go to paper and it doesn't go to notes, it doesn't actually help you move forward. And some of it may be disheartening a little bit. Like if when I go through these and you're like, the answer is 0, and the answer is 0, and the answer is 0, and the third answer is also 0, and I suck and I'm quitting. I just want you to prepare your brain to feel like you failed, perhaps. But failure is not true when it comes to marketing. It's just data. When I got to that point of being like, failure's not real, I'm just trying stuff, it was so much better for my brain. Now I'm curious. I'm like, oh, the same 3 people saw that post, but then this one seemed to have really taken off. Why? I'm just curious. I want to understand it, right? That's a choice. That's a choice to think about things. The way you think about things is your choice. It often doesn't feel like us. Sometimes we feel like emotions happen to us, but we're always in control, right? Even if we feel out of control. Okay, so here are the 5 numbers to review for quarter 1, January through March. Inquiry count. How many inquiries came in? When did they come in? So someone inquired, you should go back through and take note. This is such important data for you to know. Did they come in randomly? Was it steadily? Was it spiked in certain months? Do you notice that you're consistently getting inquiries on Fridays? All of that stuff is data that comes back to your business that can help you be a better marketer. The second thing is booking rate. So of those inquiries that came in, how many people actually ended up booking? And if they didn't, did you suss out what the problem was? Was it payment? Was it trust? Was it clarity? So I got feedback from a lot of family photographers that the ghosting rate is very high. And my ghosting rate is generally very low, but of my ghosters, it definitely seemed like I just couldn't meet them where they wanted to be. I could give them all the trust and all the clarity and all the consistency and imagery and sell them on the process as much as I could, but I couldn't overcome the pricing issue. I would say that's the most. So they'd be they'd kind of try to write to me being like, is this wiggle room here? And I'm like, oh, that's not wiggle room you're seeing. That's glue. We are not wiggling. And then once they realized they couldn't question the process into a price reduction, they would generally ghost. So then I would send another follow-up email. I'd be like, hey, I'm reaching out one more time. And then I'd never hear from them. So that was majority of it. I had one person who I feel just wanted a bunch of my locations, and I don't share my locations. I share them generally. You can have the general, obviously, idea because I book by session area, but I'm not, if you text me or DM me and say, where is this? I am not going to tell you. And it's not anything personal. It's just that I know that with the amount of people that have eyes on my sessions, I have to protect locations. I have had over the course of my career a handful of locations completely close some of my favorite locations are no longer available to use because other photographers have swarmed them, not treated them well, blasted their garsh forsaken graffiti everywhere. I mean, not graffiti, they're confetti. Probably they're graffiti too. And so anyway, I just don't share it. Sometimes I get those phishing emails from other photographers posing as clients trying to get the location. People be wild out there. They're a little silly. Okay, so the third thing is traffic sources. So you should understand, even if you had only a handful of inquiries, and maybe from those inquiries only a few people booked, but where'd they come from? Instagram, Google, referral, email list, an ad, repeat clients. You need to know where people are coming from so that you can actually put more energy into those spaces. The average photographer I talk to doesn't really know that information. They don't really know where people came from. Who did I just talk to? Oh, I was scheduling a dentist appointment for my daughter with a new dentist, and the dentist was like, well, how did you hear about us? And I was like, oh, I actually was referred from this person, and I went down the line, and she was like, I could hear her scribbling. That's how important that information is to that business, which is great. Okay, number 4 is average sale. What did people actually spend with you? This is especially important if you sell prints, because you need to know, what was the average spend? It's just good information. And then if you do sell prints or products, the other secondary question here is what was your most popular product? You don't need, I feel a million products. If you have one thing that most people like, you can simplify and really hyper focus on that, especially in your marketing when you are selling that side of your business, which hardly anyone does. Let's say the most popular item that you do is a album. You should have content about that album, showcasing it, telling people what it is, what it looks like. Number 5 is visibility consistency. This one is gonna get a few of you, okay? How often were you actually seen? And I wrote it that way because posted is not necessarily it. Because like I said, with my account, I will still post sometimes and get 5 or 6 people that like the post with 13,000 followers. And then I'll post again and it'll be totally different. So I can give myself a pat on the back for posting, but if only a handful of people saw it, or if I'm having a weird story day where hardly anyone sees my stories, I have to take that into account. So ideally, you'll be kind of tracking this information. So where you're seen would be posted content, sent emails, blog posts that you published, ads that you ran, network events that you showed up to. I just showed up to a networking event last night. I'm trying to do one a month if I can. And it was great. It was just a reminder that when I'm able to sit in front of a group of people and sell myself a little bit, that's a good return on my investment. I got someone who sent me an email this morning and she was like, hey, I'd love to meet you. I'm interested in headshots. Hello. That's great. I would not have known that person. It didn't cost me any money. It just cost me my time. And it was an hour. It was a great short networking event. It was 5 to 6. It was at a brewery type thing. I don't drink. This is another interesting rant thing that I've noticed, that there's kind of a turn to drinking less. I've read that as a whole, as a generation of people are drinking way less than they ever have, which I find to be fascinating. Both my husband and I don't drink, not because of we had an issue with it ever. Firefighters are predisposition to alcoholism. I have alcoholism in my family. And so we made a rule when we got married at 22 and 23 that alcohol is actually not allowed in our house, just for our standard. So we've never had alcohol in our house and we don't drink. And so I used to feel really insecure about going to an event at a place like that because, of course, the first thing I'm asked when I walk in is hey, here's your ticket to get a beer or whatever. And I look around and everyone drink, totally fine. I'm not judgmental about it. But I'm I'll just have a water. And then I just feel this annoying stigma. If you don't drink, you might know this feeling where you don't drink and when you say, oh, yeah, I don't drink. And then you worry. People are oh my gosh, she's a recovering alcoholic. It's no, I just don't. It's just not something I do. And I don't judge anyone for it. But man, I'm sorry. I'm a ranty ranter today. I had weird dreams last night. My children keep bringing home these phrases and things from school, and they're making their way into my dreams. And I have the weirdest dreams. Okay, so part 3 These are going to be questions to ask yourself. So if you are looking at this data, you're looking at quarter one and you have this idea, you're saying like quarter one was strong. Okay. So like, first of all, amazing. That's if it was strong, like that's great. And don't get the data about that. So like what caused the momentum I still wouldn't say my quarter one was strong compared to my other quarters, but my quarter one was stronger on my photography side than it has been in the past. So the questions are, what caused that momentum? Can I repeat that momentum instead of reinventing everything? Which one of your offers or session types was the easiest to sell? And what channel brought in the best leads? Okay. Now, if quarter one was slow, these are the questions to ask. Was I visible enough? Is my website clear? Was I promoting something that people actually wanted, or was I promoting a trend? That's another thing that I'll see where I'm like, you're not listening to the proof of concept that's coming in. You're trying to force a trend because it's featured and popular, but people aren't necessarily buying that session type. It's really trendy for like amongst photographers. So that's something that I feel like a handful of people need to like really ask themselves. Did I rely on hope or did I rely on strategy? There's a lot of hopers out there, and that's okay. Like, I'm a big proponent of hope, but you need strategy for sure. And that doesn't mean that you have to have only a social media strategy. It just means you need to have some strategy. Email, an ad. I'm super big fan. I've just felt myself lately, and I've talked about this before, really falling into the camp of like, let's get everyone running an ad. Let's get everyone running the ad to a trust building lead or offer page or info page. Let's get everyone having an email strategy. Like really, if nothing else, like that triangle. And then whatever you do on social should be strategy tied into that triangle, which then makes it a quadrant. A trapezoid? I don't know. I'm really bad at math. Okay, so then the next question was, did I nurture? Sorry. Okay. Did I nurture? Hello, nurture? Did I nurture old leads and past clients? We are so forward thinking when it comes to visibility. We can often forget about past clients. So if you follow my Instagram, you may know that I have a new location that I'm like seriously obsessed with. It's 1,000 acres. Okay, I didn't realize these people had this much land. It's 1,000-acre private ranch with like literally 360-degree views. Okay, there's no other 5%. There's another 5% that's only at this location where you can see inside a portal and you can take the portal directly into the matriarchy. So if you come to this land of special, then I will transport you to where we all want to live. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm a little feral today. So what was I even talking about? Oh, so then I'm like trying to get people to book this new location, but no content of it, just photos I took of it. It's really hard. You know, it's really hard for me. It's really hard for anyone to like book something that they didn't see because trust is low, whatever. So what I've been doing is just reaching out to my past clients who have adventured with me around in different places. And I'm like trying to sell them on this new spot. And one of my past clients who I absolutely love was like, we're planning on doing session images this fall, but we'll switch to spring so we can get this new location. Those types of things would not have happened if I would have been like, hope someone sees it. You know, sometimes you got to like really grab anything I say there is going to sound weird. So just try. Okay, if quarter one felt busy, but not profitable. Okay, so like this could be a call out as well. If you just packed your entire quarter one full of free work, first of all, that's okay. So I want to say like, that's okay if you did that, especially if you are going to swing around in 2027 and use all that content to actually book. But if you were just taking sessions because you were desperate and you felt underpriced and you were over delivering and you were spending tons of time on low value tasks because the fact that you didn't have bookings was like just in your periphery, then that can be a common experience too, where like you felt busy, but you don't really have the profit to show for it. That's another bit of data that you do want to take a look at. If you were chasing, let's say like features, likes, social media attention, but you weren't actually getting bookings, that's important to know. Like even if it makes you look yourself in the mirror a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to go into common mistakes because everyone likes a few mistakes, right? Am I making them? Am I not? So common quarter one mistakes are, number one, waiting for spring to start marketing. We want to give ourselves that runway. If nothing else, if you've convinced yourself that there's just no way in hell you are ever going to book anything in quarter one, maybe you live in a snow globe, maybe you just don't have maybe you need the recovery time, maybe you like to have a slow season, whatever it is. If nothing else, you should be getting your spring marketing going by February. Just why not give yourself the runway? Why not just get going with it? You should be doing research, if nothing else. Like, what are your blog posts you're going to write? What ads are you running? Like, what is your marketing atmosphere and what kind of tasks can you get done during slow season? Number two, pretty content not tied to any sort of profit. So this kind of goes back to this idea of there's a lot of creative sessions that can come out of quarter one that don't go anywhere. And if that's all you needed was a creative high and all you needed was the chance to create not tied to bookings, then that's fine. But this kind of attention without any follow-up step to take, or attention not backed by any sort of session can get us into a place of really messing with how we view ourselves as artists, because we can say like, I'm producing my best, quote unquote, best creative work, and no one's booking it because it's either misaligned with our brand or there's no booking strategy tied to it because it's just sort of a creative one-off. Number three, again, ignoring past clients or checking in with people or trying to, like, honestly, I'll say selling past clients on what you're doing now. Like it's not just about availability. Because clients still have a choice in who they choose as a photographer. Like, you need to bring them along and sell them a little bit on what you're up to. And that has been very profitable work, profitable emails, one-on-one emails that I have sent, or Facebook messages or Instagram DMs to past clients being like, I thought of you. You guys would be great. You love this spot. There's nothing wrong with that. But so often what it is I send an email with my spring availability to my past clients and that was it. You have a trusting relationship with these people. Like, if you're like, this spring I'm doing X, Y, and Z. I know you guys usually book fall. You would be perfect for this location. What is the worst thing that they're going to say? They're not going to kill you. They're just going to be like, oh no, thanks. We're going to stick with fall. And you're like, oh my gosh, totally understand. Love you so much. Bye. Like, nothing bad's going to happen. Okay, no updated website during this time. Like, your website should be clear that we're moving into 2026 or have moved into 2026. Here's what's changing. Here's what's staying the same. Here's what's coming up. Like, website should not stay static. Okay, this is a really important one, especially in quarter one when you're not busy with your own work. What other photographers are doing are not your analytics. That is not your data. That is what they're doing. So you don't want to compare with other photographers and ignore measuring what's actually happening inside your own house. And that's very common because we are steeped in comparison during quarter one when we feel like failures. So here are some things to do in quarter two. So we're going to do a little bit of a preview of things to keep in mind, and then make sure you go through those questions and answer them for quarter one. Okay, so do you have a clear seasonal offer? If you don't, what are you offering year round? If you don't have two chosen, and because the average person can only do about 2 or 3, choose 2 main visibility channels and pour into them. Instagram plus email, Google plus Instagram plus Facebook ads, referral plus website. Like, what is it that you're doing? Pick 2 and go for the season. Then as we transition into summer, which is around the corner, so you have a couple weeks to work on this, you can decide if you want to switch up your visibility channels. But you need a couple weeks to work on one and see how it feels. Maybe you'll find that it's really aligned. Like, I have just absolutely fallen in love with building out super helpful info pages and running ads traffic to those pages, because it doesn't take me showing up on social strategically all the time, which is nice. So moving forward, upgrade one trust building element within your marketing atmosphere. A behind the scenes reel, putting more testimonials on your website, adding in FAQ pages on every blog post, or FAQ sections on every blog post and every page because they're so important for the AI overview, creating a what to expect guide, and having what you're seasonally offering on your homepage. Those are all examples of just upgrading one little trust building factor for this month and moving forward. The other thing you need to look at is your conversion. Conversion is like someone falls in love with your work. They come to your website, they see that it's consistent, they see your face and you look like a normal person, they see your prices and they are okay. Why didn't they book? Trying to figure that out because it's very important. Is it that your booking process is too clunky? Is it that your pricing isn't clear? I had a photographer who is in the membership, and she was getting feedback because she's running a seasonal offer. And she was getting feedback from people that were coming from her ad. Her ad is really well done. It's very good. I've seen it as she's local to me, so I've seen the ad quite a few times. I've literally seen the ad like 10 plus times now, and I know her budget is pretty low. It's like $2 to $3 a day. So I'm definitely a potential person who could buy this offer, and I've seen the ad that many times. So think about the amount of time she would have to show up on social for me to see it 10 times over the last week. That's one way to think about ads. Anyway, she was getting all this feedback from people who had seen the ad and gone to her website, and they could not figure out how much these sessions that she was offering were costing her. Is that the right word? I don't know. So then she messaged me for like a check. She was like, "Hey, can you look through and see if it's unclear?" Because I feel like it's clear, and I was like, honestly, it is a little bit unclear. Like it could definitely be more clear. This is an established photographer who's a wonderful marketer. She had a little bit of a blind spot with her own website, which happens all the time. That's why you need to like go to an 80-year-old person and be like, here's what I'm offering. Try to find it. Try to book it, because it's so important. This is the last conversion thing that's really important is like, and I talk about this all the time, but like, is your excited calls to action available in everything you do and say? Like, are you excited about what you're doing? Because for a lot of photographers, it feels not so excited. It feels like, I'm offering these. Book one, Janice. That's what it feels like. Instead of like, Janice, come with me. I will help you style. We will frolic in the trees. I cannot wait for this session with a family who is snuggly and playful and like your toddler, if they're upset, I don't care. That sort of energy is missing from a lot of marketing. And I would say as we turn the corner, I'm going to force the world into whimsy because we need it so much. Please bring your whimsy to your marketing. People are desperate for a little bit of silliness, a little bit of excitement, a little bit of cringe, as the young children, as the young youths would say. We need it. We can be the people who are like, no, life is complicated, also still full of joy and love. Hello, we are family photographers. There's like literally not a more whimsical job title. Unless it's like fairy garden tender or something. Okay, so segment 6 or part 6, CEO mindset shift, okay? So here's some really important mindset stuff. Do not make quarter one, if it was good or bad or amazing or whatever, be something overly dramatic. Okay, here's the next one. A slow quarter does not mean your business is over. There's a lot of photographers that are like suddenly getting bookings again just because the sun came out and they're like, oh yeah, I don't suck. So be really careful that you don't let a slow quarter mean everything about you. Third one, a busy quarter does not necessarily mean that your systems are healthy. So sometimes in the fall, you can say, well, people book during fall. Well, yeah, because people were feral in fall. And so they'll overcome a lot of like clunky booking processes or whatever because they feel societal pressure to get these sessions done before the end of the year, before the holidays. So that does not necessarily mean that your systems are working, because that same person who needs extra nudging to do a spring shoot when they've never done one before could be running into systems that are clunky. So you still need to examine them. Fourth one is use this quarter as information, not identity. It goes back to the first one, but I have seen so many photographers who had kind of a hard year last year, mostly because of the transition and how much harder marketing is. And then this slow quarter was like their cherry on top to show that they were not a good photographer, when in fact they just weren't doing effective marketing. So you could be a few mindset shifts and thoughts away from a completely different business if you actually implement strategic marketing. Okay, so professional business owning family photographers will review, adjust, and move forward. And if for whatever reason, like I've definitely seen these posts, we've all seen them, people being like, I'm out, like I'm done, it's too stressful, I don't want to have to market strategically. Like there will be a lot of people like that who have been able to coast on Instagram visibility, and they just will not be able to do that anymore. And it's going to ask a lot of people. And there's people that are just like, no, I'd rather like go get a job or do whatever. I don't want 20 hours a week of marketing that I have to do to fill my business. So if that's true, that's fine as well. However, if you want to stay in this business, just review, adjust, and keep moving forward. Okay, so just a quick, too long didn't read. Write down what worked, write down what didn't work, write down what needs fixing. Make sure whatever you're booking now is very clear and easy to book, and have some idea from the data of quarter one where bookings in quarter two will come from, so you can start pouring into those. Okay, so I hope this was helpful in terms of reviewing. I'm still doing one-on-ones. If you want to come one-on-one, 90 minutes with me, we can cover anything you want. Mostly I'm focusing on one offer and one marketing channel. So it would be like, I want to do motherhood sessions and build out a Facebook ad for that. Like that's a perfect thing that we can accomplish in 90 minutes. If you just want to join the membership, we have co-working coming up. I'm going to switch it actually to Tuesday because I'm watching baby niece on Monday. So if you want to come to that, what it is we're going to be planning out some marketing for May. It's just a Zoom call. We're all on there. People can ask whatever questions they want. We had the first one of the co-working last month and I really, really liked it. So if you need some support, if you need some community, join the membership. If you need me to just look at your stuff and be like, am I doing this right? Is this going to work? I will do that. I love to do it. I'm super passionate about it. Okay, so I hope, and then the Facebook ads course, if you don't necessarily need one-on-one help, but you just need to know the steps, you can join the Facebook ads course, and I will be live in there on April 29th answering any questions that you have. So, yes, I think everyone should be running ads. Yes, that includes you. No, it is not as difficult as you think. Okay, hope you guys have a good week.